I'm going to tie the ghost fly that I've been tying, and I'm going to do, the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to do the floating ghost fly. I call it a ghost because I started with a white cuddle yarn. I bought the yarn at Joann's. It's pretty neat. It's like the baby yarn for the megaworm, but it's flat, and it gives a whole different look to that worm. So I start off by putting a thread base down. Trim. And then I'm going to put some plastic black eyes on. I do 12 one way, and then I do 12 the other way. You'll see it lines up pretty good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I do it like a figure 8. And I can straighten them up a little bit. Now that I have my eyes on, I'm going to take a piece of foam, because this is the floating ghost fly. I should have white, but I can't find my white, so I'm going to just use brown foam and just a little strip of foam. I guess it's a 1/4 inch thick I have. I'm going to just tie one end down. The eyes are going to help it to float because they're plastic. This foam is going to help it to float. Take it right back to just about the bend. And then I'm going to bring it back and go a little bit further. There we go. Then I'm going to bring it back and tie it right behind the eyes, get it tied down, and come back a little ways. And then I'm going to trim this off. This is all going to be covered, so it really doesn't have to look nice. You just want to make sure you get it tied down pretty good. And the reason I got a floating ghost fly is I wanted something originally that I could use at the trout farm for some of the new guys, and it worked so well. I said, boy, this caught a lot of fish. I said, I think what I'm going to do is make it as a strike indicator. By making it float, a lot of times using a strike indicator, a fish will come up and hit your indicator. So now I'm using this cuddle yarn. You can see it's flat. It's kind of neat. So I'm going to tie behind the eyes. It's a pretty simple fly. I'm going to bring it over the eyes, under the hook, and back over the eye, and I'm going to tie it down. Then I'm going to tie it all the way back to the bend of the hook. Once I get it back to the bend of the hook, I'm going to leave the tail on, and I'm going to approximately say it's going to be, 1.25 inches. Cut the tail off. And I take this material and just trim it a little bit, lay it on top, bring my thread around, work it back so I make sure I got it tied down good to the back of the hook, and then I bring my thread forward. Now I take my cuddle yarn, just wind it forward. Gives it a really buggy look. And we know the megaworm, the mop fly, all those do great, even the bedspread fly. This fly will certainly attract a lot of fish. And using it as a strike indicator, if a fish wants to come up and hit your strike indicator, he will be caught. I am using a streamer hook, a number 8, 4x long. Trim it. Try not to cut your thread. Then come around, make sure it's tied down good. Do your whip finish. I like to do 2 whip finishes. And then trim it. Now here's the part I hope you can see. The tail is flat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lighter and I'm going to lay each side of that tail. See if you can see it. See how it makes it a little... And that's going to secure the thread. Now we got our tail. Now the other problem you have is it's a little sloppy right around the eye. Well, if you haven't bought one, I like these tips where they can burn like little feathers and everything. It does a great job here. You heat it up and you can see it'll remove some of the little straggly hairs. I guess you could use your scissors also. Okay, and that is got that pretty cleared up. The other area I like to take, but I'll use my scissors, and I'll adjust my camera a little bit. And I like to open up around the hook. So I take my scissors and trim the belly. Now realize this is a streamer hook, so it's gonna not be like a 90-degree hook. It's gonna flow correctly on the water. And then what you can do is you tie your midge off of that. There we go. See how we got it cleared around the hook? And yet it's still a grubby looking little fly. Oh, let me get my camera down. Bear with me. Here we go. It's a grubby looking little fly. And that's my ghost floating fly. Now, in order to, I tie the weighted fly the same way, so the only way I can tell the difference is by I take some, for the floating one, I take some green thread and I tie my thread, wrap my tag end around, and I tie my thread right by the eye. That tells me that this is, because it's green, it's a floating fly. When I do my weighted fly, which will be next, I do red. And that's telling me that is my weighted fly. So, do my whip finish here. And there it is. That's my ghost floating fly. Thank you for watching.